Welcome to class today. Recently, one of my friends had some shoulder surgery and he was told to not do yoga for a year. And as I thought about that, I'm like, I definitely want him to follow the advice that he was given, but I think a lot of healthcare providers or physicians think of yoga as tons of arms, down dogs, headstands, handstands, things like that. And it is a lot of that, right? So I was like, I can see why they said that, but also it doesn't have to be. So today we're going to do a class with little to no arms. So if you're recovering from a surgery or just have an injury that you're working through, this class will be a good one for you. Having said that, I haven't had a shoulder injury before, and so I've kind of researched by looking online and asking questions to people that have. So if I cue something that doesn't feel right for your body, you are in charge of you, okay? So a couple times I have like arms out or arms raised. If that isn't in your mobility yet, you just keep that one arm down that's recovering still, or both arms, whatever feels good, especially with your arms today. Let's have a great class. I'm really looking forward to this. Starting on our backs here, coming on down. A couple blocks will be really nice for class today. Lowering onto your back, nice and easy, however you get there. Again, if we're using arms to come into this, maybe coming onto the side and then coming onto your back. From here, bringing one knee in and just kind of rotating it around. Maybe you'll lengthen the leg out. So I've got my right knee in, left leg lengthening out. And I am using arms to kind of hug that in. If that isn't working for you today, just use your muscles to hug and rotate around. Much harder, but also very nice. Okay, just kind of close your eyes, go into your body, inhale, exhale. Maybe the circles get just a little bit bigger. Okay, if you're using your arms, give a gentle squeeze, hug it in. And then we'll all release that side. Releasing right foot, hugging left knee in, evaluating, noticing, working through an injury while doing yoga or any form of exercise just takes a little bit extra brain power, right? So you're just tuning in even a little bit more than you usually do. Maybe making those circles a little bit bigger. Noticing areas of tightness. Where does it feel the most tight? Maybe you'll hold right there. And then just slowly releasing that down. Okay, taking a modified bridge from here. Arms down by your sides. We'll just slowly peel your lower back off the floor. And again, if this doesn't work with your injury, please just skip this pose. Lifting those hips just a little bit higher. And lower. Take that a couple more times, just lifting and lower, lift and lower, and bringing your feet out to the very outer edges of your mat. Just heel toe your feet out to the very outer edge. Arms might stay right where they're at, or maybe that cactus arm works for you, and we're just dropping knees side to side. Go nice and slow here. I notice in my in-person classes that I teach, people tend to just go really fast right here, like, oh, we're gonna get done quicker if we go fast. If you go a little slower, just kind of notice, oh, that's where the stretch is, right there. Okay, take it to the second side. Notice, where do you feel it? To go even deeper, bring both your knees over to the right, and then maybe that right foot will stack on top of left. Now, if we notice weird knee stuff going on here, let's release this. But for me, it feels really good getting into deep hip flexors and psoas area. Let's slowly release that side and drop your knees over to the left. And maybe pick up that left foot, try setting it on your right outer thigh area, drawing it down, finding a breath here. I will slowly release,
Bring your feet back in about hip distance apart and just take 3 more modified bridges, just peeling your spine up off the mat and lower down and up and down. Last one here, and then making our way into a seated position. So nice and easy, paying extra attention as you lift up into that seated position. I'll just face the camera. You're always welcome just to face the front of the mat if you wanted to. Just a couple of seated cat-cows here. So hands resting on your knees. We'll just pull our heart forward and then round your spine back. I'm actually going to model that facing this short end of my mat. Inhale, heart forward, shoulder blades together, and exhale, round. And my arms aren't forcing anything. I'm not like pulling anything with my arms. They're just kind of resting there. So should feel okay, but monitor, observe, and notice. Those will be the themes for today's class. Nice, let's take one more. And come into that side body for a moment. Right arm out to the right, left arm reaches up and over. And you could always just rest right arm on knee too if that feels better for you. Maybe looking up. And then come on into that second side. I'll face the camera to show better. Left arm out to the left, right arm lengthens up and over. Not pressing down, lifting up today, just notice that side body. Awesome, slowly release that. And we'll make our way to some Malasana Hip Dips. So just taking your time getting it into that standing position. I'm facing the camera for this as well. So feet a little wider than hip distance, toes angling out, heels angling in. We're just coming down and up. So a modified version, very modified, would be bringing a chair in behind you and just sitting down and standing up. Modified number 2 is using blocks for support as you just dip your hips up and down. Okay, you can use, like I've got one kind of behind, one in front. I really like how that feels. You can also modify by using a block behind you to just kind of tap your bum down and then lift it up here. Where we're going with this eventually is to be able to grab the outside edges of your feet, dip your hips down. As you come down, use your elbows to open those knees up a little more, and then lift up. Down, open up a little more, lift up. So if arms aren't an option, we're just keeping them low, keeping it relaxed. Let's maybe take 1 or 2 more of these. Good. All right, making your way to the top of the mat now. Slowly lift up, and then we're finding chair pose at the top of the mat. No arms involved in chair pose, so here we go. Settling the hips back. Okay, hands to your heart if that feels comfortable, or just resting down is totally fine. Let's have a look down at your feet. We'd love to be able to see our big toes, sliding the weight back a little bit. Okay. So again, arms can stay down or hands to your heart, or I'm gonna model this version where arms are out a little bit in front of you. So if that's in your mobility level, just grab your elbows. And from here, we'll be coming into crescent. So let's bring our right foot back behind, finding your crescent, lowering those hips down. Good, and again, arms can stay here. They can stay here to your hips. You're finding what works best for you. Nice and slow. Wherever you're at, we're lowering down to that back knee. From here, lean forward just a little bit. And then we'll come into our half split. And half split, no arms, involves a little more core. So you'll notice that. Straightening the left leg, leaning over. Good. We're coming back into that low lunge. Back toes are tucked. Fire up that core as we now step up into crescent. Okay, we're just taking that 2 more times. Finding your crescent, find where you like your arms, lower to that back knee, low lunge, lean forward. Half split, shoot the hips back.
Good. Come on back up. Lean forward, back toes are tucked, lift into crescent. We just have one more. Lower down, lean forward, slide into your half split, back to your low lunge, toes are tucked, and we find our way to crescent. Excellent job. All right, we're coming to the back of the mat now, so we're just pivoting back and then finding it here on second leg. So again, find that spot for your arms, settle into your crescent, so that back foot, you're high on your tiptoes, back leg straight, front knee bent. Lots of good things happening here. Nice and slow, lower to that back knee, lean forward, shoot those hips back, find your split, half split. Good, lean in, low lunge, tuck your toes, lift up, high crescent. Good. So if you do this class a few times, as your shoulder mobility increases, eventually arms are up by your head. We just have one more of these. Lower to that back knee, lean forward, back up, lean forward, finding your way to high crescent. Then we're stepping in for chair. So if you wanted to kind of step, 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 find your chair at the back of the mat. Nice job. Chair, I've got my arms up, but keeping them in today, or down to your hips, totally fine too. Slide the weight in your heels, wiggle your toes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's stand up, bring your hands to your heart, wiggle and shake it just a little bit. All right, finding a warrior 2 from here. We'll keep our right foot planted right at the back of the mat. Big giant step back with your left foot, and then you'll find your warrior 2. Open up. I always tend to lean over that front leg a little bit. Let's see if we can slide it back so that shoulders are right over hips. Now the typical warrior is arms out, but if we're working through an injury, arms might be down, or maybe healthy arm is out, injured arm is down. Figure out what works best for you. We can still move if one part of our body is injured, right? Warrior 2. Settle those hips down just a little more. Draw that energy in through that low belly. Take a breath. And then we'll find our triangle pose. You can tell I'm used to just coming into things with arms out. If we're coming into triangle with no arms, we're just leaning over, straight legs, okay? If that bottom arm is healthy, maybe you would want to put it down, but this is fine too. This is a little bit more leg strength. We won't hold as long. Maybe you can look up over that left shoulder. Good. Slowly coming up, finding a loaded crescent. So we're just maybe heel toe that back foot in a little bit, coming off that back heel, leaning over. Load that front leg up. Hold and breathe. Healthy arms might shoot back behind you, okay? Let's all bring our hands into prayer. We're finding a warrior 3 here. So some might just lift off and lengthen into warrior 3. Others might kind of step it in a little bit here and ease their way in to warrior 3. Left leg lifted, right leg straight. Hold and breathe. And then float that leg back behind you, finding a brief warrior 2 again. Okay, that's with right knee bent. Let's come on up and switch sides. So facing the front of your mat, left toes are facing forward. We'll find that warrior 2 to the front of the mat now. All right, and again, you see me kind of leaning there. See if you can really straighten things up. Shoulders over hips here. Play with the arm position. What's working best for you today? 1, both, none. Maybe lower, and we're working that mobility. Gaze over the front of your mat. Settle down into it for one more breath. Nice work. Let's find triangle. Straightening both legs. That back foot is in at like a 45 degree, and then we're floating in. Triangle pose, no arms. We'll looking up over shoulder, taking another breath. Open that heart up just a little bit more. And then finding that loaded crescent. Take a breath here, come on up. And we're maybe heel toeing that back foot in once or twice. Leaning over, left bent knee, picking up the right heels. Nice. Play with those arm positions. What's working for you? We'll eventually land at hands to heart. Leaning in, lifting core. And then finding that warrior three pose. Again, step it in a little bit if you need to, or just lift off if you're able and hold and breathe. Nice job. One more breath here. And just bringing right foot to meet left. We'll find our way to a forward fold from here. So exhale, slowly lower. If it feels good, bind your elbows and just gently sway side to side, tucking your chin, looking back through your knees. Got a couple breaths here. Nice job. Take a little bend in your knees and we'll slowly roll up. One vertebrae at a time, head coming up last, finding our one and only balance for today. Keeping our hands to our heart. I'm going to face the camera to show this. Just a single leg chair balance. So we're taking a bend in the knees, just drawing right shin above left knee, flexing that foot. Open that hip up. And if you're able to, bend into it just a tiny bit more. Maybe a little more. And a little bit more. I'm at my edge. Awesome. Slowly release that side. If hands to heart don't work, hands to waist, or if your balance is a little funky, having a wall right next to you, really nice, okay? We're just bending into that. Place your hands where you'd like. Left shin just above right knee, flexing that left foot. Open up that hip. And then just kind of play with the mobility of the pose for you. Keeping yoga a little playful and not so stressful will really benefit you. Just being like, oh, that wasn't it for me today, but maybe tomorrow. Okay? Drop those hips down just a little bit more. Nice. Slowly relaxing out of that. You can still be facing the short end of your mat for this. I'm going to just face the camera again for these Malasana dips. So we've already done them once. Let's take them again. Just lowering down and up. And again, maybe reaching the floor, but not forcing it if it's not there. Lowering hips down, lifting up. Okay, just take one more of those, and then we'll hold low. We are making our way to the floor, so if you need assistance there with a chair or your blocks, take whatever time you need getting to the floor. And actually, yeah, we're coming into camel next, so come onto your knees. Making your way to the floor on your knees. All right, from here, just a modified camel. Again, let's not stress out with if we can't, oh, I can't support myself with my hand right here. You don't need to. Just notice the back bend, pressing your hips forward, lengthening back just a little bit. My hand isn't doing anything. And then come forward. Take that on second side. Now, as your strength and mobility increases, maybe you will cup your heel and lift your other arm, but not forcing it today if we're not quite there yet. Good, just take one more on each side. Again, I'm showing a very modified version with hand on low back. Nice. Okay, now let's settle down, finding a child's pose again. So walking back just a little bit if you'd like, settling those hips down to heels, arms extending out in front of you. Taking a couple breaths right here. Very good. Let's slowly lift up and we'll take our seated forward fold. Lengthening your legs out, and then just walk forward once or twice, just taking the flesh out from underneath you. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and exhale, fold. Just letting your arms rest down by your sides, not forcing grabs or binds even with the strap today. Just arms are just rested. Now we're just floating over those legs. And take another breath here. And take one more, deepening the pose if possible. Nice job. All right, slowly coming out of this, we'll find our way onto our backs for a twist. So again, if you need a little extra time there, take it. Coming onto your back, knees are bent, feet are planted, lift your hips up, kind of tuck your tailbone under and rotate down to that spine. Okay, from here, let's hug those knees into chest. Again, if hugging with your arms doesn't work, just hug with your abs, with your muscles. Arms out to a T if possible, and we're just taking those legs, those knees over to the right and look to the left. And knees back to center, and we'll just slowly take them over to the left and look to the right. And knees back to center. Give a gentle squeeze with your abs or your arms, and then just slowly relax those feet down. Take a couple more of those windshield wipers side to side. If your feet are really close together, I don't feel it nearly as well. So just kind of widen that stance with your feet, finding the very outer edges of the mat. And then we'll make our way into our final pose before Savasana, which is just Goddess pose, soles of the feet together, knees dropping open. And you might press one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Again, not forcing any mobility that isn't there today. And just take a moment of gratitude for what does work on your body. Not everything is ever perfect. There's always something to work through. And your ability to do that is amazing and serves you well. You're welcome to hold here for a few more breaths or slide into a Savasana pose, legs out, finding the very outer edges of the mat, arms down by your sides. And we'll spend a minute or so here. You're always welcome to pause and stay longer if you'd like. Go ahead and begin to wake your body up by wiggling your fingers and toes. And we will be making our way to a seated position now, so if you need assistance with that, go ahead and grab any props in, anything that's going to help. Make your way to a seated position. Bringing your hands to your heart or resting them in your lap. We'll just take one final closing breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.